Patience builds character while rushing destroys foundations. Many people fail to understand that the strength of anything lies in the process by which it's built. You cannot expect to construct a skyscraper on the same shallow ground where you would place a tent. The deeper and more lasting the structure, the longer and more intentional the process of laying its foundation. Life works the same way. When you rush through your development, you skip over the essential steps that make you strong enough to handle the weight of what you are praying for. God allows certain seasons in your life to teach you endurance, to mold your integrity, and to give you wisdom that only time and experience can provide. Patience is not a punishment. It is a classroom where character is built. If you move too quickly, you miss the lessons that prepare you for the blessings. When you plant a seed, you do not expect to bear fruit overnight. You water it, you nurture it, and you wait for nature to do its work. Rushing will be like digging up the seed to see if it is growing, only to find that your impatience has disrupted its process. Many of us do that in life. We try to force growth, force success, force opportunities, and in doing so, we uproot what was meant to grow naturally. We want the reward without the refinement, the prize without the process. But the truth is, the process of where strength is developed, the storms you face, the obstacles you overcome, and the delays you endure all serve as tools to shape your character. Without them, you would not have the depth, the resilience, or the understanding needed to carry what you are asking for. Think of a builder who is constructing a house. If he skips steps, uses cheap materials, or ignores the time it takes for cement to dry, that house will not last. The moment a storm comes, will collapse. That is exactly what happens when we rush through life trying to bypass preparation. A foundation built too quick cannot hold the weight of success, responsibility, or influence. Many people rise fast and fall faster because they never took the time to develop the strength of character that could sustain them at the top. You don't want to be a shooting star that shines bright for a moment and then disappears. You want to be like the sun, consistent, dependable, whose rise is steady and sure. Patience is not just about waiting, it's about how you wait. Waiting with faith, with a willingness to learn, with a heart open to growth, ensures that the time spent in the process is not wasted. Every delay is an opportunity to sharpen your skills, deepen your wisdom, and fortify your spirit. When you try to skip the steps, you rob yourself of the experiences that make you strong enough to withstand the pressures that come with blessings. What good is it to reach the top of the mountain if you are too weak to stand once you get there? The climb is what builds the muscles to stand at the peak. When you understand that patience builds character, you will stop comparing your journey to others. You will realize that just because someone else appears to be ahead does not mean they are stronger or more capable. Often, rushing leads to a fragile success that cannot last. But the one who takes their time, who allows God to mold them through trials and delays, will be established in a way that no storm can shake. You must remind yourself that anything worth having is worth preparing for. It is better to take time and do it right to the hurry and have to rebuild it all over again. Rushing is a sign that we are more focused on the outcome than the journey. But real growth happens in the journey. Every trial you face is a lesson. Every delay has a purpose. Every challenge is shaping you for the future you are praying for. If you run past those moments, you arrive at your destination unprepared. You may have the opportunity, but you won't have the character to handle it. You may get the blessing, but you won't have the wisdom to protect it. That is why patience is not an obstacle. It is a gift. It allows you to grow into the kind of person who can carry great things without being crushed by them. Your destiny is not a race to be won, but a process to be led. When you embrace patience, you give God room to complete the work he has started in you. But when you rush, you try to take control away from the one who knows exactly when you're ready. Slow down. Trust the process. The character you build while you wait will be the very thing that sustains you when you arrive. God's timing is greater than your deadline. We live in a world obsessed with speed, where everything is about instant results, instant food, instant messages, instant success. We carry the same mentality into our personal lives, setting deadlines for ourselves and expecting everything to happen on our schedule. But God does not work according to our clocks. His timing is perfect, not because it is always convenient, but because it prepares us for what he has in store. We may feel frustrated when our plans are delayed, but the truth is that those delays are often divine. They are God's way of aligning us with his greater purpose, protecting from mistakes, and ensuring that when we step into our blessing, we are fully equipped to handle it. So often we pray for things that we are not ready to receive. We ask for opportunities, relationships, or responsibility that if given us prematurely could harm us more than help us. Imagine giving a set of car keys to a child who has never learned to drive. The gift itself is not bad. The timing will be disastrous. The same applies to life. Sometimes God withholds certain blessings not because he does not want to give them to us, but because he knows we are not yet prepared to handle them wisely. We see the desire, but he sees the danger. We see the next step, but he sees the entire path. Trusting his timing means believing that he knows what is best, even if it contradicts our deadlines. When we rush to make things happen, we often force doors that are never meant for us, or that we are not yet ready to walk through. The result is regret, disappointment, and unnecessary pain. But when we wait on God, we discover that his timing brings peace and provision. The opportunities that come in this season arrive with everything you need to succeed. Resources, wisdom, strength, and favor. You will not have to force what God has ordained, because what he has planned will fit perfectly into your life. Every time you trust his timing, you allow him to arrange the details in a way you never could on your own. It is human nature to feel like we are running out of time. We compare ourselves to others, thinking that because someone else reached a milestone faster, we are behind. But comparison is a thief of joy and a destroyer of faith. Your journey is not supposed to look like anyone else's. God knows the exact season you need to be in. And when the time is right, he will accelerate your progress in ways that no amount of rushing ever could. The Bible says that a day with the Lord is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day. That means what feels delayed, you may be right on schedule in His plan. Waiting on God is not passive. It is active trust. It is preparing, learning, and growing while believing that what He has promised will come to pass at the appointed time. If you spend all your energy worrying about when it will happen, you rob yourself of the present opportunities that prepare you for the future blessing. Often, the waiting season is where God refines your character, deepens your faith, and aligns your heart with His will. If He gave you everything you asked for instantly, you would never develop the maturity required to sustain it. The delay is not denial. It is development. Think about the story of Sif. He received a vision of grace as a young man before he ever reached the palace. He endured years of betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment. From the outside, it looked like delay after delay, but in reality, God was positioning him, shaping his character, and building the wisdom necessary for leadership. When the time finally came, Joseph was ready to step into the role prepared for him. If the vision had come to pass instantly, he would have lacked the strength and understanding to fulfill it. You must learn to release your deadline and trust God's perfect timing. Stop thinking you are late. Stop believing you have missed your moment. As long as you are walking with Him, you are exactly where you need to be. His plans are not limited by your age, your past, or the timelines of society. What He has ordained for will not pass you by. The very thing you're rushing toward may be something He is saving for the exact moment when you will appreciate it the most and handle it the best. His timing is not just better, it is perfect. Rushing leads to regret, but waiting produces wisdom. So many of the mistakes we look back on in life are connected to decisions we made too quickly. In the heat of the moment, we felt pressure to act, to decide, to move without thinking deeply or seeking guidance. And later, when the consequences became clear, we wish we had taken more time. When you rush, you are more likely to be led by impulse rather than intention. You react instead of responding. You choose what feels good in the moment instead of what is good for your future. Regret becomes the byproduct of impatience because rushing blinds you to the lessons you could have learned by simply pausing, thinking, and waiting. Wisdom, on the other hand, is born out of patience. It is the result of taking the time to consider, to reflect, to pray, and to seek counsel before acting. Wise decisions are rarely made in a hurry. They require discernment, and discernment takes time. When you are willing to wait, you give yourself room to see the bigger picture, to weigh the consequences, and to align your actions with your values and goals. Waiting does not mean doing nothing. It means preparing while you allow the right timing to unfold. In that preparation, you gain understanding. In that understanding, you make better choices. Those choices lead to peace, not regret. Think about how many people jump in relationship, jobs, or financial decisions without truly understanding what they are committing to. In the moment, the opportunity looks too good to pass up, so they rush. But later, they realized that what they thought was a blessing was actually a burden. If they had waited, they might have seen the warning signs. They might have discovered that what they wanted so badly was not as valuable as they believed. Waiting gives you clarity that rushing will never provide. It allows hidden truth to surface. It exposes what is not meant for you, and it confirms what is right for you. Regret is a heavy weight to carry. It makes you replay moments in your mind, wishing you had done things differently. But wisdom spares you that burden because it positions you to make choices that you can live with peacefully. The waiting season is where wisdom grows because it is where you ask the hard questions. Is this really what I want? Is this truly aligned with my purpose? Am I ready for the consequences of this choice? These questions do not often arise when you are in a rush, but when you wait, you create space for understanding, for hearing God's voice, and for aligning with what is truly best for you. Waiting also teaches humility. It reminds you that not everything is within your control, and that some things require time to develop naturally. In that humility, you learn to depend less on your impulses and more on discernment. You become less reactive, more intentional. The more intentional you are, the wiser your decisions become. Wisdom is not just knowing what to do. It is knowing when to do it. Timing is as important as the action itself. A good decision made at the wrong time can still lead to pain. Waiting helps you synchronize your actions with the right moment. Sometimes the delay you experience is God's way of saving you from a future regret. You may see it as a missed opportunity, but in reality, it is divine protection. How many times have you looked back on something you once desperately wanted and felt grateful that it didn't happen? That is the gift of waiting. You are spared from rushing into situations that could have harmed you. The blessing of hindsight is realizing that not getting what you wanted when you wanted it was actually the best thing that could have happened. Waiting does not mean you lack ambition or drive. It means you are wise enough to recognize that lasting success is better than temporary satisfaction. Quick decisions often satisfy the moment but jeopardize the future. Wise decisions may take time, but they bring lasting peace, joy, and stability. Regret can follow you for years, but wisdom produces fruit that blesses you for a lifetime. When you learn to wait, you trade the fleeting pleasure of rushing for the enduring peace of knowing you chose well. Life is not about how fast you move, but how well you move. Every major decision you make should be approached with the understanding that what you decide today shapes your tomorrow. Rushing blinds you to this truth. Waiting gives you the clarity to see it. Choose to wait, not because it is easy, but because it is wise. Choose to wait, not because you lack opportunities, but because you value the right opportunities. The reward of patience is a life with fewer regrets and greater wisdom. A life that reflects choices made with purpose and understanding rather than haste and impulse. Success without preparation becomes a heavy burden. So many people think that the only goal is to achieve success as quickly as possible, but what they fail to realize is that success carries weight. Every blessing comes with responsibility. Every opportunity requires stewardship, and every level you reach demands a new version of you. If you arrive at that place without being prepared, the very thing you prayed for can crush you. Having something is not the same as being ready to handle it. Without the strength, discipline, and wisdom that preparation brings, success becomes a source of stress instead of joy. You can get the promotion, but if you are not ready for the pressure of leadership, it will drain you. You can enter the relationship But if you're not mature enough to nurture it, it will collapse. You can receive the opportunity, but if you lack the skills to sustain it, you will lose as quickly as you gained it. Preparation is the process that builds capacity. It stretches you, equips you, and teaches you how to manage what you are asking for. Think of a runner who dreams of competing in a marathon. Winning the race is not just about crossing the finish line. It is about enduring the journey. If that runner shows up without months of training, the race will break them long before they reach the end. Success works the same way. It is not just about arriving. It is about staying, thriving, and growing once you are there. Without preparation, you may get to the place you desire but lack the endurance to remain. That is why some people rise quickly but fall just as fast. They receive the opportunity before they develop the character and skills required to sustain it. The time you spend in preparation is not wasted. It is an investment. It is where you learn discipline, resilience, and humility. It is where you sharpen your craft, deepen your faith, and strengthen your mindset. You might feel like nothing is happening, but that hidden season is where you are being equipped for the weight of success. If you bypass that process, you will step into opportunities you are not ready for, and they will feel like burdens rather than blessings. The more you prepare, the lighter the burden becomes because you have the capacity to carry it. Sometimes we look at people who have achieved great things and think they were just lucky. What we do not see are the countless hours of work sacrificed and learning that position them for success. The stage you see is built on a foundation of preparation that often took years. When you rush to get what they have without paying the same price of preparation, you set yourself up for failure. God allows preparation seasons for a reason. He knows what lies ahead, and He knows the version of you today is not yet ready for the battles that come with tomorrow's blessings. The victories you pray for require a stronger, wiser, more disciplined version of you, and that version is formed in the waiting and working seasons you want to skip. Success is not just about achieving a goal. It is about sustaining with integrity. Without preparation, you may compromise your values to hold on to what you were never ready for. Pressure exposes weaknesses, and if you have not spent time strengthening your character, the pressure of success will break you. Preparation teaches you how to handle power without pride, influence without arrogance, and responsibility without fear. It gives you the tools to lead, to endure criticism, and to stay grounded when others place you on a pedestal. Think of David before he became king. He spent years tending sheep, fighting lions and bears, and learning to trust God in obscurity. It looked like nothing significant was happening, but every moment was preparing him for the day he would face Goliath and eventually lead a nation. If David had stepped into kingship without that preparation, the throne would have destroyed him. The battles you face in private are training for the blessings you will receive in public. Skipping those battles leaves you unprepared for the weight of success. Do not despise your preparation season. It's not a delay. It's a divine strategy. Every skill you learn, every challenge you overcome, every test of character you endure is building the strength to carry more. If success comes too soon, you will spend all your energy just trying to survive it instead of thriving in it. But when you've been prepared, success will not feel like a burden. It will feel like a responsibility you are ready to embrace. The people who last, the people who make a real impact, are the ones who allow themselves to be shaped before they are elevated. Success is not about how fast you get there. It is about how strong you are when you do. Every delay is a divine setup for greater growth. Many times we interpret delays as denials, believing that because something has not happened yet, it never will. But delays are often God's way of preparing us for something bigger than what we are asking for. When you feel like life has put you on hold, it is easy to grow frustrated and question whether you are moving in the right direction. Yet, what feels like stagnation is often a season of development happening beneath the surface. Just because you do not see progress does not mean progress is not taking place. Seeds grow roots long before they ever break the ground. The same is true for you. There are things being established in your life that must be formed in private before they can be revealed in public. Delays stretch your faith and build your endurance. They teach you to rely on God's plan instead of your own. When everything happens according to your timeline, you never learn trust. But when you are forced to wait, you grow in patience, humility, and dependence on God's guidance. Delays also protect you from stepping into situations you are not ready for. They shield you from opportunities that could harm you because you lack the preparation or wisdom to handle them. What you see as a setback may actually be divine protection, keeping you from making choices that would lead to regret. The longer the delay, the greater the preparation. God often uses these seasons to refine your character, strengthen your skills, and remove the things that would hinder your growth. Waiting exposes what truly drives you. Are you pursuing success out of impatience and comparison? Or are you walking in alignment with your purpose? It also reveals whether you trust God enough to surrender control. When you release the pressure to force things to happen, you create space for God to orchestrate opportunities far better than anything you could arrange on your own. Think of the story of Moses. He spent 40 years in the desert before leading the Israelites out of Egypt. At first glance, those 40 years might look like a waste, but they were not. That time was used to transform Moses from an impulsive young man into a wise leader capable of guiding a nation. The delay was not punishment, it was preparation. In the same way, your delay is not worth the time. It is God shaping you into the kind of person who can handle the blessings, responsibilities, and challenges of your future. Delays also give you perspective. When you do not receive something immediately, you have time to evaluate if it is truly what you want or need. Many desires fade with time, revealing they were temporary impulses rather than lasting callings. On the other hand, the dreams that remain strong despite delay are the ones worth pursuing. That persistence proves that what you are waiting for is not just a passing wish, it is part of your purpose. Delays refine your vision, teaching you to separate what is essential from what is unnecessary. Every delay has a purpose greater than what you can see right now. It is setting you up for a blessing that is aligned with your growth. You may think you are ready, but God knows when the right door should open. And when it does, it will not just be an opportunity, it will be the right opportunity at the right time, with the right people, in the right place. You will realize that the waiting was worth it because the result is far greater than what you imagine. Growth rarely happens in comfort. Delays push you out of your need for control and into a posture of learning, adapting, and becoming stronger. They create space for wisdom to develop and for your character to be molded. If everything happened instantly, you would never gain the resilience and maturity necessary to sustain success. The growth that comes from waiting ensures that when the blessing arrives, you will have the capacity to carry with confidence instead of fear. The next time you feel delayed, shift your perspective. Ask yourself, what is this season teaching me? How is it shaping me for where I'm going? Because every delay is not an obstacle. It is an opportunity for growth that you cannot yet see. When the appointed time arrives, you will look back and understand that the very season you wished would end was the one that prepared you for everything you had been praying for. Life is not a race to see who gets there first. It is a journey designed to shape you, grow you, and prepare you for everything you are meant to carry. Rushing will always leave you empty, unprepared, and full of regret, but patience, trust, and preparation will position you for lasting success. Every delay has purpose, every waiting season has value, and every challenge you endure is building something in you that cannot be built any other way. God is not just concerned about giving you what you want. He is concerned about who you are becoming along the way. Do not despise the process. The foundation you lay today will determine whether you can sustain what you receive tomorrow. Trust that His timing is perfect, even when it feels slow. Remember that the opportunities that come too soon can be as dangerous as the ones that never come at all. When you slow down, you give yourself the chance to grow into the person who is ready to handle the blessing. Success without preparation will always crush you, but success that comes in its season will elevate you and bless others through you. Your patience is not in vain. It is your preparation. Your waiting is not wasted. It is working for good. Every delay is not a denial. It is a divine setup for greater growth, greater wisdom, and greater strength. So walk boldly, not with impatience, but with trust. Stop comparing your journey to others and start believing that what God has for you will come at the right time, in the right way, and when you are ready for it. Slow down, breathe, grow, and prepare, because the life you are building is too valuable to rush.